You don't go from 0 mornings of working out to 5. You go from 0 to 2, and then that might be it for a few months, and then, like, staying at that 2, and then it means 3, and then it means, like, I mean, I'm going through this right now, honestly, where it's like I'm really trying to move at a pace that I'm, through the help that I have, through the feedback that I have, even through my partner talking to me, I mean, it's just like I'm expecting a lot of myself to get things done.
Hi, and welcome to Beyond the Paycheck. I'm Paula Christine. So last week we talked with Matt about his process and how to achieve your goals for an abundant life. So just a quick recap. So step number 1 was, where are you now? Step number 2 is setting goals. And then 3, which I think is probably the hardest step, is to clear what's in the way. So welcome back, Matt.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be back with you today. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Me too. I love when I find like-minded people.
I do too.
And
I know.
And it's so hard today to do that. But when you do find them, it's like an instant connection.
Well, there's a lot of us. I mean, there's a lot of people out there. But it's like we're in a weird spot right now. I think a lot of us are craving more of an in-person situation, but like we're still living a lot behind our computer. I mean, and like I mean, I think we know as a society that like being on the phone all the time isn't necessarily helping us, and becoming more aware of that. And it's an interesting time. I think a lot of change is happening.
Okay, so let's jump into the last 3 steps.
Yep.
So hopefully that if you've listened last week, you've got some work done, or you've reached out and got Matt's workbook. But step number 4 is to create a plan.
Yep.
So how do we do that?
So creating the plan is considering what's in the way, like what needs to be accomplished, what needs to be moved out of the way. And a lot of this time, this means help. Like if we're struggling with something in life, like we are in a job and we don't know how to get out of it, or we have a codependent partner and we don't know how to manage that, we need some sort of help. So like creating this plan, like what needs to happen to get to the place that we want to be. And we've established what is in the way by the previous step of really addressing what is in the way. I also just want to comment, this takes time sometimes to get through it. You might sit down to look at this on a Monday and then think about it, and then really sit down on Tuesday, make a little more progress, and it might not be till Friday or the following week that things start to really open up. I mean, I've been taking myself through this process in many forms, every single day of my life. This is really how we achieve goals, and it's not this I need to get from here to here. It's like, what is the step in the process that will get us there? And sometimes that's the plan. A lot of times, I'm in a place in my life where I'm making a lot of changes. My partner and I are going through surrogacy. I've transitioned my business quite significantly, and I'm listening as my intuition is showing up. And right now, a lot of my work is in surrendering. And my plan looks like, how do we, not stress about money? How do we continue to believe that this is all happening for a reason? I
think that's hard. What you just said is really hard, because I do the same thing that you do. And, sometimes you're you get up in the morning and you take your one step forward, and then something comes in the way and you're take that deep breath. And then you think, okay, am I doing the right things? And then you get that little bit of doubt, but you have to always believe that if it's the right things for you and you're doing the work, even though you might see some setbacks, it will come to fruition. If you do that. And the believing can sometimes be the hard part.
I think it's probably the hardest part. And I think it happens over time, and I mean, the life is a practice. I think I might've said this on the prior episode, but if I could see myself 5 years ago, or my 5-year ago self would not believe who he is right now.
No, me neither. Yeah.
This morning,
I say that all the time.
This morning, I was talking to somebody about just my journey. This is really heavy. I mean, I cried about this morning. They were asking about my journey, and kind of they were asking about my work history. And it really hit me that my whole life, professionally up until not long ago, it was like living like a means to an end. Like, and then I realized like these, and just like looking at the professional part of my life right now, like none of those things that I was doing, like the means to the end. Like I went to college so I can get a full-time job. Okay. And then I got there, then it's like to get a better full-time job. Like that wasn't making me happy. And
Yeah.
I really, really, I mean, it brought tears to my eyes because like this is the process of life, and we need to be doing our damnedest to figure out how we're going to enjoy this process on some level. And but my plan 5 years ago would have been to like earn more money or do more of this, and that's and that might be your plan. Like I'm sharing this as my plan now because I've I've achieved my other goals. Now I want to chill the f out and enjoy life in a
Well,
different way.
I think when you talked about, the means to the end, a lot of people live and work just to make the budget, make the goals that are to survive. And I know that I was in that place a while ago, but now my goals and stuff are set for a purpose, and the purpose is to enjoy my life more,
Can I
to
ask
have
you,
more time and more freedom.
like back then, were you happy doing what you were doing?
Well, I'm doing the same thing. It's just that I changed and I started looking at things different. And then what I was career wise is the same, but I started doing more within my career that makes me enjoy it more. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of my life, changed after the divorce. And so when I look back and say, what would my 5-year-old self think about me today? She'd think she's pretty damn awesome. Mm-hmm. But she didn't think she was pretty damn awesome 5 years ago.
I wanted to like get like, I mean, you're doing the same role of work, but like what I'm getting at, it's like our needs change over time. Like, and we have different needs at different times. So were you content? Like, and if the answer is yes, that's like if there was a part of, I guess where I'm getting at is like,
I wasn't content. I wasn't content. I wasn't content financially. I wasn't content where my firm was going. 5 years ago, I just wasn't content with a lot of things going on in my life. But through doing the steps that we're talking about, I have become content. Not really content, because I don't think you can ever be, because I constantly am growing as a person. So, and I enjoy that growth. But I had to make those changes because I felt stifled in my life. Like getting up in the morning was just, yeah, I got to get up because I got to go do this. And now I get up because I'm excited about what's going to happen today.
Did you feel content 15 years ago doing that?
15 years ago. So that would put me 15 years ago. I have to go kid-wise. No, because something happened in my life at 15 years ago, and I kind of pushed it to the back and thought I could work through it. So no, I would say I haven't been content. Probably no. 15 years ago, I would say no.
So we're similar in this, that we've like,
yeah.
There are periods of my life where this is kind of what I was trying to get to a little bit, but it's like there were periods
analyzing Paula today.
There were periods of my life where I was just showing up for a paycheck, and that was fine for me at that time. And there are periods of my life like where I wanted to make a lot of money. There are periods of my life where I want to be more fulfilled. There's I want to just kind of make it clear that we can want different things at different times of our life. And in your situation and mine, we seem to have sort of ignored that intuition a little longer than some
people. Yeah. I ignored my intuition for a very long time. And I think it was because, as a mother raising kids, and it was, taking care of the kids and running a business and being married and, all the things that, as a woman that I had to deal with. And when I started to really look at myself, I realized that I wasn't happy. I was trying to make steps to make my business grow, and I'd have the ideas, but I just couldn't get anything to happen. And I think that's because of how I felt inside of myself. I had to do that work and let go of the past and let go of those self-doubts and feelings to then come to where now I enjoy what I'm doing, and I look forward to meeting with clients, and not that I didn't before, but it's just so much more enjoyable because I'm happy with me.
Mm-hmm.
Does
I
that
love
make
that.
sense?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
totally does. I mean, and I
Okay.
think this all falls under the plan. I mean, sometimes the plan is there's inner work to be done. And I think that, I'm seeing that a lot for myself as I'm making this change, like what's coming up. And, I mean, and it's very interesting because I'm seeing how much I used to ignore my intuition and how like it's certainly uncomfortable sometimes to be like, oh, I'm just kind of making like, oh, I spent $5,000 on this because I thought it was the direction I'm going. And then like a few weeks later being like, I wasted
Yeah.
$5,000 because that direction doesn't feel good anymore. And
I
coming to,
think that happens a lot when you one of my business coaches explained it to me. It's like you have an idea and you think this idea is going to change my business, right? And it isn't. It's likely the stuff that you were doing before had you just been doing it. You
yeah,
didn't,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you don't have to reinvent the wheel the entire time. It's just taking those steps each day. So, if it's getting a new client or changing your career or whatever it is, it's just taking, even if it's just one tiny step every day towards that goal,
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to be able to do it. But throwing money at things or saying, okay, I'm going to do it this way. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do that this way week later or this way that you're just spinning all
Mm-hmm.
the time.
It's
And
fun.
then you get frustrated with yourself.
It's funny hearing you say that because this is just, it's so like it's so reaffirming what I'm feeling. Like my work right now is to accept that like there are I'm moving into a creative world, like into being a creator of things, of experiences, and to transition from someone who always did things nonstop. I am being asked to chill out some days and allow some days to go for a walk. And that, I mean, that's never it. But like I am being called to slow down because there's something underneath that's trying to that's trying to get my attention in a way. And I think a lot of this, like we're going to be dads in like 10 months now. And it's like, I want to be the best parent I can be. And I want to clean up a lot of this inner stuff. Before that. And
You can try to be the best parent you be, but you're still going to screw up
oh yeah,
somehow.
yeah, no question about that. No, yeah, this isn't about perfection. This is about
No.
me being proud of who
Yeah,
I
who
mean of
you
who
were.
I am.
When you look back 20 years from now and you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
I like the parent that I was.
It's
Yeah.
interesting, like because I've left this consulting business earlier last year, and it's like I'm realizing like I'm having to face some demons right now that like I stayed in a situation that I was really unhappy with for a very long time. Um, I did it making a lot of money, not working very much. So it's like it was probably like a much better situation than a lot of people. But essentially, I stayed in a relationship that was not serving me anymore, and um, that doesn't feel. I mean, I'm learning like I'm kind of mourning that I didn't know that was exactly what was happening, and when we're
Just kind of accept it, forgive yourself, and move on.
I think there's the forgiveness. I mean, like I'm forgiving. It's more just like the suppression of emotions and the suppression of creativity that's been like pushed down for a while. That's kind of like I
Trying
don't
to get
know.
out.
It's like I mean, it's like dirt that's like really dry. You have to. I mean, it's like it's trying to get through that top layer, but it's like it's and the best way to get that top layer to soften is more massages, more walks, more relaxation, and that's hard for someone that's always pushed.
That's hard for a lot of people. That I think people get stuck, in my opinion, um, because they can't see through the dirt.
Yeah,
Using your example, they can't see the other side.
yeah,
And then the fear comes up, like if I take that, I start digging at that dirt, what am I really going to find? Is it what I hope to, or am I going to find something totally different? But you don't know until you start scooping the dirt.
mm-hmm. It's, like, I mean, it's amazing. Like, while I'm coaching other people and like seeing, like, I can see so clearly. And I work with people that generally want pretty, direct feedback. And it's not like your marriage sucks. I mean, it wouldn't be something like that. It's more like really helping direct them in the right direction. And it's been interesting to see, like, gosh, like, I can do this for other people so well, but when it comes to my own life, like, I need help still, none of us, even like the best people in the world, like, you think about, sports players, like,
They have
we
trainers
all
and
have trainers,
coaches.
we all
Yeah.
have people that are helping us see our blind spots. And I mean, it's our job to be discerning about like who those people are and what we let in, and really who those people are. I mean, they're paid generally to see us thrive, so they're incentivized to help us make the right decisions.
Right. But I've had some coaches that, well, I was going to say something, but I'm going to take that back, even though I didn't say it. I think I've learned something from every coach that I've ever worked with, or every therapist that I've ever worked with. You learn something. It might not be, it might just be something little, but it's little enough to get you to go on to the next person.
You are a growth oriented person, and given my example of the $5,000 in the wrong direction, I too am remembering that all of these are learning experiences, and it's the more painful of an experience, the bigger the lesson.
Yeah. And I think sometimes the coaches or therapists and stuff that you work with, they do have good information in there. They can help you work, but sometimes it's our own self-conscious that doesn't allow it.
I think sometimes we get enough information and it's time for us to really make the decisions on our own. Like, I had somebody the other day tell me, and I loved it. It was somebody that I was talking to about working with me potentially. And she said, I'm in a place of adding by subtracting. I was like, you go, girl. I was like, I mean, seriously, like, I mean, I get it. Like, there have been times of my life, I mean, I'm coming off of a period where I've been in an incredible amount of courses and memberships, and again, like you said, there's a lesson in everything. I'm glad I did it. None of it was a waste. And I'm grateful that, like, financially, I was able to totally make that investment without any pain at all. But now it's like, no, like, this is go time, and it's time to trust my intuition and do the work, which leads us to our,
Oh, yeah. That's step
to,
number
I
5.
didn't mean to
Look
do
at how
that.
you transitioned
I
right
didn't mean to
into
do
that.
that, but it's doing the work. After creating the plan, it's doing the work. And I know this doesn't sound like that riveting, perhaps. Like, this framework is I mean, the easier the framework is to follow, the simpler it is to follow. It's doing the work. And this is really where working with a coach or somebody to help hold us accountable is so important, because obstacles do show up. Our plan is that we're going to go to the gym every Friday morning, or maybe every week. I mean, every morning of the week. And then we don't go. We go 3 mornings of the week. And then we work with that coach, and that coach helps us offer us compassion, because we don't do that to ourselves so well, and helps us see that you don't go from 0 mornings of working out to 5. You go
5,
from
yeah.
0 to 2, and then that might be it for a few months, and then, like, staying at that 2,
Yeah.
and then it means 3, and then it means, like, I mean, I'm going through this right now, honestly, where it's like I'm really trying to move at a pace that I'm, through the help that I have, through the feedback that I have, even through my partner talking to me, I mean, it's just like, I'm expecting a lot of myself to get things done. And, like, there's an element of this whole, like, out of control, or out of our control world that happens, like this morning, like, someone came and tried to deliver our dishwasher. We had a new dishwasher. They couldn't install it. I'm like, oh, like, there goes an hour of my morning dealing with that. And those things happen. And a coach helps us see that, like, don't expect you're like, how to kind of work with what we have, and to accept the limitations, work through the ones we want to see the options, but it's doing the work. It's creating a plan, it's following the plan, that we put together. And it's not,
I think one of the coaches that I worked with said that, you have your plan, and an obstacle is going to come and get in the way,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that obstacle is. But that obstacle is likely letting you know that you're on the right path.
The obstacle is the way. I mean, these obstacles that show, like, that's a lot of like what I am seeing as I'm making these changes in my life right now. Like, there are some things that I'm not. I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, I'm kind of laughing while saying this because it's like so intuitive, like in hindsight, But like, if your plan is to, I'm making this up, go for a run every morning, and you're not doing it, it's worth investigating whether the run is actually the right thing. Maybe you actually want to go play tennis. Maybe you actually want to go to yoga. Maybe you actually want to go to the gym or something. Like, for me,
Yeah, do things you enjoy.
yeah, like for me, like I go to the gym a lot, and a lot of that is because I like my podcasts. There's some mornings where I want to learn and listen to my audiobook, and like that really is killing two birds with one stone. Where like if I went to yoga where I forwent that ability to to do that, I might get a different level I mean, it might encourage me differently. um, if you're, like if your goal is to make dinner every night and that's the cue to eat healthy and you're not making the dinner, maybe you don't like cooking and you need to be doing something different to get the healthy food from the food source to your refrigerator. So these obstacles aren't like bad
Yeah.
things. It's information. And,
Yes.
but the
Yeah,
goal
I
is,
like that. It's information and it's helping you figure out what it is that you truly want.
and
But
like,
don't let it discourage you.
and like you said, I
And I
mean,
think that's where people get discouraged. They just stop.
yes. I mean, I have like, I mean, I'm sure we've all heard this before, but it's like really, really, really permeated over the past couple of weeks for me, where it's like no one really fails, or no one like things don't things don't not happen because you failed. Things don't happen because you give up too soon. Like you can always like achieve what you want to achieve if you want to keep going long enough. And there are some goals that, we can adjust. We think that this is going to be something that fulfills us or something that might have come more naturally. We have the freedom to adjust those things. But if your goal is to start that business and a lot of obstacles come up, I mean, you work through the obstacles and then the business works out. I mean, if you give up,
Yeah.
it's never going to happen.
Yes, that happens for a lot of people. Like, you're going to, start your diet on Monday and you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So then you give up, or you say, I'm going to start next Monday, but just start on Tuesday.
Start on Tuesday.
And people just give up too easily, I think, a lot of times.
Absolutely. The last step I wanted to hit was I call it enjoying life. And this sounds intuitive, right? No, I mean, we've generally been like pushing ourselves, and we have been striving to get ourselves to a place of this like abundance, of this contentment. I know you said you don't like the word contentment, but at this place, there are periods of our lives where we're allowed to either sit back and like enjoy what we've built, or just like be in the moment. And I think that it's so important for us to remember that like this is life. And I know one of the hardest steps for me, my partner and I, once we really achieved a lot of the goals that we had for ourselves, like we bought a nice house, and it was like the craziest thing. We really had shame for the house that we had, having this nice house. And there was a lot that came up along with it. And a lot of it was just talking about it with our friends. Our friends were like, oh, congratulations. And we would be honest, like, oh, I mean, thank you, but we're having a hard time accepting that. And there's a lot of work I do with clients around this, around how to enjoy. And we're going from a place like a lot of the people I work with, believe it or not, are people who are very successful monetarily. I just had a call with a new client yesterday who was talking about how he's doing well financially. Like he's bringing a lot of money in, and he's not spending all that he's bringing in, but he's never budgeted. Like he didn't, and he's kind of seeing that freedom now, where if he does this right, he can start working a lot less than he is now if he were to start to like get the full picture of the financial trajectory he's on. And I find that a lot of people, again, speaking to the high achievers out there, a lot of us have a lot more freedom than we realize. And this all is part of the kind of the last step here.
Yeah, I think it's when you start to put things into perspective and you start to make things priority. That's when you, like, time and money freedom is different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to figure out what that is.
And that,
Like for me, I like to take 3 weeks and travel every year, and I enjoy that.
yeah.
And I probably could have been doing it for years, but I didn't think I could.
Yeah.
And then when I made it a priority, now I can.
I talk to a lot of people that have a lot of money, and it's interesting. You know, somebody said the other day, I mean, they probably have like, you know, well over $10 million in the bank. It's a couple. I mean, someone I know, and it's a couple, and they were like, you know, we don't want to quit our jobs right now because, you know, we don't want to pay for health insurance on our own, you know. And I'm just like, oh my gosh,
God,
like
you have $10 million.
I mean, I respect everyone's choices, but I'm like, I don't think they have any idea that they'll never need $10 million in the rest of their life, you know. And I think so many of us spend so much I really laid this out recently, and about like how we spend so much of our life preparing for this Armageddon that like the probability of it happening is so low. Not to say we shouldn't save, but like the probability of us like being fine is like 90%, and the probability of something going wrong is 10%, yet we're putting 90% of our resources into this 10% possibility. And
yeah, there are some people, and they tend to have like a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
When it comes to money, and that they want to make sure that they're secure.
Yep.
But there's also people that have the scarcity mindset and have nothing.
Yeah. It's a balance like everything else in life.
Yeah. 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 Interesting. A lot of things to think about today. I thought I was being analyzed there for a second.
I'm really happy that we got to have this conversation. So thank you for
me too.
having me back today.
And I will be in your area in a week from today.
Okay.
Well, I'll be in LA.
Maybe we can see each other if the fires aren't too bad.
Maybe. I'm only on a short visit until Sunday.
Alrighty.
And then going out, I'm actually meeting with a coach. So
cool deal.
So, okay. So we will let everybody go. So Matt's contact information and his workbook are in the show notes. And I really do appreciate talking to you.
Thanks, Paula. I really enjoyed talking with you. And please reach out if you have any questions or want to talk about some changes you want to make in your life. I'm the guy. I made a lot myself, and I've helped a lot of people make theirs. So thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Take care.
Thank you.